Right.
Here they come. It always alphabetizes as the guests come in. So I'm always like,
Yeah.
"Hmm, I know the A's and B's, but beyond that, sometimes I don't see their names for a minute. Oh, look at that. Hey, and this is kind of cool because I just saw someone um that one of the things we like to do with some of these webinars sometimes is we like feature some sites or we show samples of sites. So I know for a fact a few of your sites are going to be showing up in this webinar and you'll be like, oh, look, that's me. So that's praise. Unfortunately, we didn't pull together a guest for this one, which I really like having the guests, Jordan. I think those are kind of neat, but
I do too.
this was just a little different topic. So we were like, oh, we'll leave the guest off. You're stuck with us this time around. But still a lot of you signing up, and we love hearing that everyone's saying these have been really helpful and interesting. And thank you for keep coming back to the webinars, and thank you for your feedback. And you guys,
Yes.
the question and answer part of this, that comes with the Zoom webinar, let us know your thoughts. Let us know if there's like, I really want this topic. If you got our newsletter, we were asking about trainings and different things. So we love hearing back from you. So don't be shy. I know some of you aren't shy, but some of you are a little shyer than others. So
Yeah.
Jordan, you're leading us
All
off today,
right.
my friend.
I know. I was just taking a look. I think it slowed down a little bit, so I think we're probably ready to get started. So I can kick us off here. So welcome everyone. This is our March 2024 webinar. This month's webinar is all about homepage tips and tricks. We've got a few fun, interesting facts that we'll share later on, and then some good things that you may or may not know about the homepage. I feel like a lot of these things aren't big items, but they make a very big impact, even though they're a small change. So we want to make sure we're calling those out. Our team for the webinar today is your usual crew. Allison and I are your presenters today. And then we've got both Chrissy and Christina, your account managers and project manager, are on. Brian is here with us in spirit today. He is actually at a conference for United Ways right now. So some of you may have seen him in person if you're joining us from that conference. Our agenda today, we have been really loving the Did You Knows. I've really loved that we've added these into our webinar. So we're starting with the Did You Know facts. We're going to go through a few homepage tips and understanding your menu, some header buttons, what your options are for those. They're great call to actions, some rotor images, footer menus, and then open it up to questions from everyone. So let's go ahead and dive in to the Did You Knows. Did you know that first impressions matter when it comes to your website? We want everyone to come to your site and say, oh my gosh, this website is so great, or they're very engaged when they come to your site. We looked up a few statistics for these Did You Knows this month, and this one was that the average visitor spends less than 1 minute on your homepage, which is not a lot of time. If you have tons and tons of content on your homepage, they're probably not seeing it all within that first minute. So it's really important to make sure that you are being just mindful when you're choosing images for those rotor images, when you're laying out your main menu. You want to make sure that users are easily able to find whatever it is they might be looking for in less than a minute, because that's all the time that they will spend on your homepage before they move around. Our next Did You Know is all about videos. One of the other statistics that we looked up is that users really, really love video content. Videos are actually the most shared content in all of social media. Everyone sends videos back and forth to everyone. We can absolutely incorporate videos into your website as well. There's ways to pull some YouTube feeds into your site. We can embed videos. I've got examples of all of these that we'll show later on as well, but just something interesting is that videos seem to catch users' attention. So if there's ways to work them into your site, it's probably a strategic move to pull those in. Next one, which I thought was very interesting, is that as of January of this year, there are about 5 billion people using the internet worldwide, which is a lot of people. It's about 66% of our population. So one of the things that I wanted to look at was, of that roughly 5 billion people, how many are using it on their cell phone? How many are pulling up the internet on their cell phone? And that is about 4 billion active mobile users. That's a ton of people that could be accessing your site through their tablet, through their cell phone, more so than on their desktop. So it's really, really important to be thinking mobile first when you are creating new pages on your site, when you're laying out your homepage. There's definitely ways that we can show you on how to pop a page into mobile view so that as you're creating pages, you can easily switch the view and make sure that everything is looking nice, it's easily accessible, no matter what type of device someone has. And the last did you know that I have, this one is about accessibility. Accessibility is something that we're seeing being a trend for websites. Everyone wants to make sure their websites are accessible for all users to come. And our last statistic was that 16% of the world's population has some kind of disability where they would benefit from a tool, an accessibility tool on your website, which is still about 1 billion people, which is a ton of people. I feel now our sites especially, we've got real easy ways to make sure that your websites are accessible. We've got a great tool that can help kind of do the work for you. We've got certain fields that we can point out that you can be filling out. If you have questions on accessibility, reach out to your account manager and they can point you in a few areas. All right, that's enough with my did you knows. Hopefully you didn't know all of those facts, but I'm going to move on to a couple items for the homepage, and then I'll pull up some sites so we can do a little show and tell. So a few homepage tips and tricks, general and specific, that incorporate your menu is one, just be aware of your menu capabilities. Make sure you know how many tiers you're allowed to have on a desktop view, what that menu looks like in mobile view, so you can make sure you're just strategically building out that menu for your mobile first users. Remember that we can also easily hide sections of your home page. Our newer themes that we've built out, we tried to put a ton of content on there, a ton of options for you guys from feature requests that we've heard. So if there is an area on your homepage that you have trouble filling that content, you don't have enough to have a blog feed or a latest news feed on that homepage, keep in mind that we can always hide a certain section of your homepage for now until you're ready to fill that content. It would be better to hide it than to have it kind of an empty section sitting on that homepage. Another trick is if you have any type of upcoming events or latest news feed on your homepage that specifically has an image, we do have the ability to put a default image in there. When you're creating those events or those news, usually you'll see a image field specific to the homepage. A lot of the time we'll do a color block as the default so that we have something in there. But we can always change that to an image of your preference. If you have a great kind of generic image that you'd like used, send it over to us and we can make sure we pop that in as the default. And you'll always have the option to add an image, change the image if you need. Next tip is all about blocks. There's a few themes, in particular our Haboop theme that has a few open-ended blocks is what I like to call them. They can be open content blocks, which means we've got a couple different options as to what can go in there. If you are not sure, if you're struggling to figure out what to put in those blocks, reach out to your account manager. We have some ideas. We can pull some examples because you always have the choice to change that up. And then lastly, on this one is just to, if you don't have that mobile responsiveness tool when you're logged into your site as an admin menu, it's that little cell phone that should show in the upper right-hand corner. Please submit a support ticket to our team to get that added. It is very useful. You can ask them to add the mobile responsiveness tool to your website, and they are prepared for those to come in if you're missing it. Okay, let me pull up some sites now and actually walk you through some of these items.
And just a reminder, because this has been quiet so far, we have our Q&A. If you haven't been on one of our webinars before, this is webinar, so it's not the chat feature, it's the Q&A feature. And you can drop a question in there about anything. All of us are watching for those questions coming in. We'll answer them. So please use that.
All right. Okay, so first example that I had, this is Unity of Traverse City. They are in our Haboop theme. And in this theme in particular, there is kind of an open-ended block right underneath these rotor images. So I love that they took a welcome to Unity of Traverse City, a video from YouTube, and they embedded it right on their homepage for users to see. So if you have this theme or if you have an open-ended block, embedding videos from YouTube or Vimeo is very easy. We can show you how to do that if you don't remember, but this is always an option. Otherwise, we also have another tool for some of these blocks down here, which is a YouTube video feed block. And this will look small within this block, but when clicked on, it does open up for the user to watch that video in a larger screen. It'll play the full YouTube video here. And then on internal pages, we can pull that feed in. So it's a little bit larger, but they're all going back to that YouTube channel. This is, again, Unity of Grand Valley on this theme. And these videos, well, my internet's a little slow today, but they'll pull up and play directly on the home page. So if you have a ton of video content, this is a great way to work that video content into your website. All right, this site is United Way of Pickens County, and this has the mobile responsiveness tool on there. So I wanted to point out again what that looked like so you guys could tell right away if you have this tool or not. So when you are logged into the site as a site admin, on the far right-hand side here, you should see this little, it looks like a cell phone, preview page layout option here. And when you click on it, it will show you a few different device sizes, an iPad, a tablet, some cell phones. And once you click on that tablet, it'll quickly switch your view down here to what your site would look like on that device. You can scroll through, you can click on buttons, you can navigate throughout your whole site within this mobile responsiveness tool. You can also turn the device. So if someone was holding their phone, vertically and they wanted to switch it and hold it horizontally, you can see exactly what your site will do on those different device sizes. So this is a really excellent tool. I highly, highly recommend, especially for your internal pages. As you're building them out, pop them in these tools. Make sure you like how those pages are laying out. If there are things that look a little funky, please let our team know. We can take a look and see if we can adjust those. All right, next site example. This is California Association of Area Agencies on Aging. They are a newer theme launch. They went in our monsoon theme. And this was a great example of the accessibility tool. So we do have a little ADA widget that can be added to your website. It'll show up on every page within your site. But what I love about this tool is it lets the user really drive exactly what adjustments they need made to the site. So they can take a look at all of the different options here. They can highlight the titles if they need. They can go through and adjust the dark contrast, light contrast. They can mute all the sounds if that's something that is hard for them to go through. They can make the mouse bigger. There's a ton of options in here. And it'll change the whole site directly for that person. So this is a great tool. It's very easy to add on to your website, and it will get you to level 2A of the ADA compliance if that's something that you
Jordan,
need to be at a specific level.
yeah, let's talk about this a little bit more. Just in general, one, this isn't a free option. There is a cost associated with it. It's not a required option, but I just want to make a general comment about ADA. I know a lot of you maybe you've gotten emails from companies and different things. It is something to be very knowledgeable and very aware of. And we do talk about it a lot about our pictures that you're putting on the site and the way you're putting words on. But a tool like this kind of takes you, like you said, what level did you call it, Jordan?
2A. I believe there's three levels, 1A, 2A, and 3A.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so it just brings your compliance level up a bit higher. So that is always a good thing. So depending on your thoughts on that, it isn't really a bad idea to think about getting this added to your site. But again, there is a cost associated with it. It varies a little bit depending on how many pages you have, so it can just throw you a number. But talk to your account manager and we can talk with you about that if it's something you like. But you're seeing it more and more. You see the little symbol on sites and it's
Yep.
very recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are things you can do outside this tool as well that I'll point out. This kind of does it all for you. It kind of takes care of having to think about, filling in all of these fields. But if you need to, one of the things that you can do on the site, you'll see this a lot on images. I'm just going to add a rotor image here. Oh, it logged me out of the site.
Yeah, darn. That's happened to me before when I'm presenting. I have it all set up and I'm logged in and I'm ready to show this. In fact, I probably need to double check some of the ones I'm working on because I got the same thing going. I'll be like, oh, I'm logged out. No
So
worries.
one of the things to be aware of is when you're adding images to a site, into an image field in particular, and I'm just going to grab one just to pop one in here. You'll see this field here, this alternative text field, and this is one of the fields that you can fill out to make sure that you are being as accessible as you can on your website. This field is meant to be a description of the image that you're showing. So this has a little bit of text on it, so I would put an alternative text here as find help when you need it, call 211, or something that if someone wasn't able to see this image, they would still know what it is based off this description right here. So this is a great field to fill out as well for all of those rotor images, any promo banner images on your homepage, any of those image blocks will all have this alternative text field.
And your
Another,
hyperlinks have it too.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you have a hyperlink, they'll have that alt text. It's called alt text. So definitely, you guys. I know a lot of times we just kind of skip the field because it doesn't have red asterisk or it might not be required, but it's an ADA compliance rule, and so sometimes we'll get asked by our customers like, "Is my site ADA compliant?" And our response is, are you doing all the things to make it ADA compliant? Are you not putting words on pictures? If you're putting words on pictures, are you fully typing out all that text in the alt tag? What are you doing? Are you darkening your images when they need to if they're too bright? So do you need the widget tool? It's helpful. It's definitely helpful. It saves you from having to overthink some of that stuff. But there's things that you guys are kind of responsible to do to help that along.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Jordan. Just thought
No, that's
add to
great.
that.
It's little things. I think it's very easy to make sure your website is accessible. Of course, we build all of our sites so that they're meeting compliance as far as design, but when you're adding content to those pages, making sure the content you're adding is accessible is important too. All right, moving on. I also talked about hiding areas on your homepage if you don't have content for it. So I wanted to show one example. This is our Havasu theme. This is our demo site here. And you'll see as you scroll through, we've got the rotor images at the top. We have a what we're fighting for section, and then it leads into the R impact number, along with a bunch of other kind of sections or blocks on this homepage. If there is an area here that you don't have content for, maybe you don't have enough data to put numbers in here together, you're not ready to have that shown, we can hide this section from your homepage so that it's not visible. And that's exactly what United Way of Central Missouri did. They hid that top section. So immediately from their rotor images, it goes right into those R impact numbers. And we'll make sure that there's not any odd gaps within your homepage. We'll make sure that it lines up, but it's very easy to turn those on and off as you need if you don't have the content ready for it. Okay, working my way through all these links here. This is Gaston County Family YMCA. They are in our Sedona theme. And this theme has a very built out main menu. They have 3 tiers of menus, meaning program and classes would be that first tier. Whoops, oh my goodness. Sports would be the second tier, and then all of these underneath sports would be those third tier menu links. But in mobile, they don't have those third tier menu links. So one of the things I thought was clever is when you take this site in mobile, more tools. One of the things that they did is on that program and classes landing page, they made sure that they built out links to all of those internal pages so that when you are on a cell phone or are on a tablet, you can still access all of these pages, even if it's not the same way you access them from the menu. So again, just another reason to make sure you're pulling up your site on your cell phone, on a tablet, try to get around and make sure that it's easy for you to click to get to where you're going.
Absolutely. And depending on your site, you might have a 2-tier menu or you might have a 3-tier menu. Like this one, I think only has a 2-tier menu on the side.
Yes, this one, and I believe our Catalina theme as well. The two menus that we have with the pop-out menu, they only have 2 tiers, meaning bulletin is the first tier, newsletter sign up is that second tier. Okay, and then this is just an example of replacing that default image on the news feed or the upcoming events if you have an image. You'll probably see a color block in there, kind of a branded color that we've placed in there to keep the styling, but we can definitely update this to something that's not a color. It's a little more personal to you guys. It's an image. I love the way they did this image because they did account for having kind of text and that link on the right-hand side of this block. Changing this out is something our team would have to do. So if you have a good image in mind for those, please send it over to us and we can update that. When you are going in to create new events, you'll always have the option to update this image. So you don't have to stick with the default image. It's just there if you don't have an image handy so that you're keeping the styling. And with that, I forgot, I wanted to show you. I thought Gaston County did a great job with this. One of the things I love is they took a little bit of time with all of their event images. I believe she has this kind of templated out in Canva or in Photoshop, but she has the image sizes for the homepage already built out. And then she adds a special little banner to that image before she pops them into the event that she's adding. So, and I just love that it gives it a nice little touch. All of her images look the same, and she's able to categorize those for her users that are coming to the site. All right, and then we've shown, I think, one of every theme, so I just wanted to pull up our Oracle and Phoenix themes as well. We haven't had anyone go live in these yet. They're in development, so we'll have some live examples very soon. But again, if you are going into these themes, just making sure you're aware of the menus on every theme, the header buttons that you have, how your rotors behave. Just take a look and try to map out content for each section. And if you need to, we can hide certain sections if you're not ready for that. And we'll go through. I love this Phoenix theme as well. This is one of our themes where the rotor isn't full size across in desktop, but in mobile, it stacks very nicely right above that text. So just another option here. Okay, I think I have ran through all the Did You Knows, all the site examples that I pulled up. So Allison, I will turn it back to you to
All
move
right.
through.
Hey, as soon as I figure out how to do that again. Yeah, so thank you, Jordan. And it's kind of fun because we end up doing what I like to call like show and tell, where we're saying, hey, check this out and check this out. And a lot of times we're using your guys' site designs and doing some other stuff with that. I'm going to lead into my portion with a poll question. So wake up. Not that Jordan put him to sleep. That sounded wrong. This is when I like to ask a question, get your input on this. So did you guys know that you could schedule rotors? Let me launch this question. Hopefully everyone says, yes, I knew about that. Maybe you knew about it and you've done it. Maybe you knew about it, but you haven't done it, or you didn't know about it at all. So let's find out what you guys know. And it is possible that you might discover you don't have that scheduler tool added on your site. Every once in a while, we find it's just not there, and that's a support ticket. Our team can add it. So good answers on this. I'm going to last chance to vote. There's still a few of you out there. Someone took a coffee break. All right, ready? Okay, I'm closing the poll. Get it in? Got it? Good. Going.
There we go.
Okay. Ending the poll. Let's go ahead and share those results. So, hey, interesting. A bunch
Yeah.
of you didn't know about this. So that's why you come to these webinars, because we're going to teach you about it. Love that 27% of you are scheduling, so that's cool. And some of you know, but just haven't done it yet, so that's okay. That's okay. We're with you. I will come back to that in just a moment. Let me just talk through my slide, and then I'm going to do like Jordan did, flip over to my pages and show up a bunch of tabs. So scheduling rotors. If I'll show you what this looks like. If when you go to your rotor page, you don't see the schedule option, it's off on the right. I'll show it to you in just a moment. Put in a sport ticket. Let's have our team add that. Rotors. I'm going to talk a bit about that rotor space. Limit the number of rotors. You can limit the number of, not or rotors. Sorry, typo. Number of rotors that you have there. If you saw that statistic in the Did You Know, people don't stay on your homepage for more than a minute at most. They're not going to sit there and watch it rotate through 10 rotors. It's just not going to happen, folks. 3 is kind of the limit for most individuals. 1 to 2 is good. 3 is it. And then sometimes we just freeze the rotor and we don't rotate them. We just have something that we want to feature. I'm going to show you a sample. It happened yesterday with customer. She's like, I need to feature this. So like, let's stop the rotor. So I'll show you what we did on that real life scenario. Use your photo tools. Sometimes you need to darken the images. Sometimes you might need to do some things to make it work the space. I am going to do a really quick Canvas sample because I know we did photos last time, but this one will be super fast. So stay tuned for that. Avoid the words on the rotor, but if you have to do it, make sure that they're in that center 400 pixels that make it to mobile. So we'll look at that as well. And then, you know, this is more thinking through. I know, like my churches, a lot of times our conversations around knowing your audience. You have people coming to your website, and everyone has people coming to their website that it's the first time they've ever been there, and they want to know about you, what you do, versus the people who are regular participants and they're looking for the schedule and they're looking for what's going on. So make sure that your homepage covers all bases. Sometimes I hear from my churches that they like that rotor space to be really geared towards someone trying to learn about who they are versus their regular congregation who wants to know what's happening because they know how to maneuver the menus. So just take time to think through what makes sense as far as your audience goes. And on footer menus, you know, people ignore the footer menus. Don't ignore your footer menu. You know why? Because a lot of times that's what really shows up on the phone on mobile view. So we'll look at that, and I want everyone to think about their footer menus. If you don't have anything in your footer menu, if you don't have your top pages in your footer menu, you really should. So let's go look at some samples and do that thing. All right, here you go. Here's that rotor. When you do content, add content, front page rotor image, if it will be closed when you first come here, on the right, you should have a scheduling option. So you can schedule your rotors. That is a really good idea. You can set it up for a while, especially through holidays, etc. If you create a rotor and you start it as unpublished, uncheck the box. You can schedule it to publish on a certain date and time. And don't forget your rotors are weighted. That's first, second, third, fourth. What order are they going to show up in? So, and it's like a number line. So you can actually do a negative number if you're trying to push something first. If you don't put a number in here at all, it pushes it first too. So this body text here and most rotors, it depends on your rotor. It depends on your theme. Some of them will pull text in and some of them won't. So if you have questions about that, we have training videos on all the home pages. We need to make sure we mention that as well, Jordan, all those trainings you've done. Every different, the thing is everyone has a different theme, right? So some of you have this and some of you have this, but all of you should be able to schedule a rotor if you have a rotor feature. There we go. All right. Some of the themes have buttons on the top, and often you have the ability to have more than the default 2 buttons. So in case you didn't know that, I just wanted to make you aware. Check in, you might be able to feature more than just 2 buttons on the top of your site, depending on your theme. Okay. The donate button, most everyone typically has some kind of donate or give button at the top. Something that's come up a lot, especially with my United Ways, when it's campaign season, and I just had this happen where they said, hey, I have a fundraising page for a campaign, and I'll show it to you right here, called Rave. And we're having a problem. We want them to fill out their pledge card here, but they're all clicking that donate button on the top and they're going to the wrong page. So I want to make you aware that if you have that kind of button feature, it can be hidden from very specific pages. Specifically, this is an example of a time you might go, I don't want that showing there because people are accidentally clicking it. So that's something to know about. All right. Oh, rotors. So this site, now I've got a few sites up where I'm just showing you how some of our customers have taken and like done overlays. So this is curling, you got some frost on the side, you got a darkened center. It's just a really good idea to think through visually how you work this rotor space, whether or not you drop some background colors on it or you do anything to make it visually easier and focused on the center. So those are just reminders. Here's another one that does a lot of color pull-ins, overlays to soften up the text or put an overlay so that the white text pops. These guys froze their rotor. They said, this is it. We're not rotating. We're featuring this. We've graphically made it. It's very center focused. Looks good. That's how they chose to do it. All the words that they have to say about it are in the word block, which means it'll stack and look good on mobile. Okay. And then this one, this happened yesterday. Yesterday, I got contacted by this United Way, and they're like, hey, we have a Travis Kelce jersey to raffle off, and I don't know how to feature it. And I said, let's stop your rotor. Let's make a graphic and put it in the middle. So they had like education, income, and health, 3 rotors that have been going for a while. So actually, if we go to the scheduling, this one's scheduled to come down like on April 3rd, and the other 3 are scheduled to come back up on April 3rd. So it's scheduled out. But I do want to show you, she had this huge graphic thing, and I thought, oh, you know, I try and tell people, don't put words on graphics, but you can. So long as you're focused that the mobile, and this is showing a Galaxy Note mobile, 412 pixels centered, will still show it. It's as long as it looks good on a phone and you do that alt text overlay so the computerized reader can read it. It isn't that you can't have a graphic with words. It's that you want to be very meaningful and very intentional in what you do. So this is the one Canva sample I was going to show you. Here we go. So that rotor for here is 2000 pixels wide by 600. And you can see that when you're logged into a site, like this one on this particular site is 2000 by 700. But if you didn't know that, underneath your images, typically it'll tell you what the exact dimension is. And sometimes you can find that helpful. So in Canva, what I will sometimes do if I know I'm working with something of a very exact dimension is I will create that custom size first, and then I will go ahead and work from this. And this will take me like a second to do. So I had already, of course, uploaded her raffle picture and dropped that in. And I'm not going to worry about centering it. But then I clicked on the background and I'm just going to take, you know, Canva has these great tools. I'm going to make the rest of the background match the red coloring. And that's all I did. And I saved it. So I didn't have to worry about like, how do I work with that space? I created the canvas size to be exactly the space I needed and worked with it. Could I put other pictures and stuff beside it? I could, but this was just quick and easy. So that's my tip on that. Like I'm getting to the end of my slide samples. All right, so this is going to be about the footer menu. So check this out. This website if I go and look at it on a phone, I get the hamburger menu, right? That's pretty standard. So I have to go plus and plus to get through my menu on the phone. So here's my encouragement to you, and these guys have done it well. Use your footer menu. Why do I use your footer menu? The footer menu will stack. And so all I have to do is click them. I don't have to do plus, plus, plus to find where I'm going on a phone. I can find my featured pieces down here, my address information, like they have more contact information here. They have a bunch of stuff here. And you've been to sites before that have really big footer menus. If you're on your desktop, who cares how big the footer menu is? Like it doesn't really matter. It's on the desktop. The footer menu is about the mobile experience. I can tell you as a user, I know to always, when I'm on a phone, go to the footer menu to find my links. Here's my advice to you. If you guys are doing your Google Analytics and you're looking at your stats and your statistics, what are the top trafficked pages? Are they on your footer menu? They should be. They should be. So, like, look at your analytics, look at what pages people are going to, make sure those pages are on that footer menu for easy access. Build your footer menu out with more stuff. It's fine. All right. I feel like I've just been going. See, Jordan, you don't jump in like I do on you. You need to start talking.
I was looking, I did see, I can maybe take the screen back. I saw a question come in asking how to embed a video, and I'm happy to demo that real quick if we need.
Yeah,
So
when we
let
have
me,
time, we're good. Why don't you grab it back? Yeah,
I'm going to
go for
steal
it.
this back from you.
Actually, you can run it to the end
Perfect.
because that was kind of what
So
I
I
had.
think, whose question was it that came in? Angela, I think I saw your question. Can you show how to embed a video on the website? And yes, we can. So this is, I pulled up our demo Monsoon site that we use to test around with, and I pulled up our 1H YouTube channel. This is our webinar from last month, all about pictures. So if we wanted to embed a video on a page on your site, what you'll need to do is first come to YouTube or come to Vimeo and find that video. From there, I'm just going to click on the share button, and it's going to give me options. How do I want to share this? I want to embed it. And when I click embed, it will give you, oh, there's my dog. How fun that that's the thumbnail. It will give you the embed code over here on the right-hand side. Usually when you click in there, it will highlight all the text. If it doesn't highlight all of it automatically, go ahead and highlight all of that text and click copy. And then I'll come back to my website, to my page that I'm on. And I want to find my text editor here. And every text editor should have this source button. And when you click on source, you can then paste that code you just copied in, and you can click source again, and you should see that video rendered directly on the page. Then you can go ahead and save it, and it will show up. So this is how I know Unity of Traverse City did it on their homepage. This was a block, not a page, but that block still gave them that rich text editor with that source button. So you can always add individual videos that way. Or if you're interested in having something that's a little more automated, we do have the ability to pull in that YouTube feed directly. And what's great about this is that it will update automatically. So as you're adding new videos to YouTube, they will show up here automatically, which is also a very nice feature.
Hey, Jordan,
So
can
that
I suggest that you show the support site and where like the homepage overview videos are, and even like how to do that, the embed the YouTube video there. It's in the training right in here. So
absolutely. So if you don't already know, our support site is at support.1h.com. That brings you to this site. Usually, we also have it added right directly into your admin menu. So if you are logged into your site, you should see an OE support button here. If you click on that link, it will bring you back to our help center. The upper right-hand corner, submit a support ticket. This is where you can come to get a ticket in if you need help. But if you go into this websites area, this has our full knowledge base of training tutorials. So we've got some general website support. I believe how to embed a video is in how to embed a video on your site within this section. We also have theme overview trainings, and these are specific to each individual theme that we have. We walk through top to bottom, the home page, what everything is called, how to edit all the different pieces. So if you haven't seen these already, they're a great resource to come back to. We also have image sizes for specific themes. So your rotors, your promos, your news, your events, we've got them all listed out for easy reference. But all of these theme overview, that's a really good, I think they're probably 20 to 30 minutes long each video, but it will walk you through that homepage and help answer questions. And
Question
we
came
also
in.
have,
How do we know our theme? Hopefully we
if
know
you
your
don't
theme.
know, yeah, if you're unsure what your theme is, reach out to your account manager. They can tell you quickly which theme you are in. And then the last thing I'll point out on the support site is the webinars tab at the bottom. This is all of the webinars we've done, which we've done quite a lot. We've been on this for a while, which is really great, but all of the recordings are here. So if you're looking for one, you can always come find it here and rewatch that time over time. We've got a couple good ones in here.
Over and over and over again.
If yeah,
Just keep
if
watching.
Allison and I's voice are relaxing to you, you can keep listening to it over and over.
Your voice is relaxing. I'm getting a little hyper, but that's all good. All right.
Okay, I'm going to jump back to our slide deck now. We did our poll. Hopefully you know how to schedule your rotors now. We'll just jump to our closing details. So again, all of our webinars are in our support channel on that webinars link. You can always submit a support ticket. The things we talked about specifically on this webinar, if you don't have that mobile responsiveness preview tool in the upper right-hand corner, get a support ticket in. Our team can make sure that's added for you. If you don't have the ability to schedule your rotors, if you're missing that on your rotor images, get a support ticket in. Our team can make sure that's added to your site. As always,
We have
we
one more
recommend
poll
booking
question, don't
meetings.
we?
Oh, do we? Well, is that
Yes.
after this? Okay, we'll
Yeah,
launch it
yeah.
now. We'll launch it
So
now.
I just don't, people are starting to drop off. So hang on just one more second. We're going to close this webinar out. And then we have one additional thing if you just hang on another minute. So let me stop the recording on this, or can we wind this part down?
Yeah,
This is for
I'll
this
wrap this
webinar.
up. So as a reminder, it's always great to book meetings with your account manager, Allison, Christina, and Chrissy. We love meeting with you guys. We love answering questions. We want to help you figure out the best ways to use your site. So please book with them regularly. And then our next upcoming webinars next month, we are focusing all about events. In May, we're going to bring it back to the basics. And then in June, we'll be on campaign prep for, I know, United Way's Gear Up at that time.
Any
And that's
other
closing.
closing thoughts on
Closing.
this webinar? And we're going to stop the recording for you guys. And we got a follow-up poll question if you just hang on. Anything else here, moderators? Okay. All right, I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you.